what is the benefit to keeping the Oscars on TV? Is it really even necessary? I lived in LA for 6 months in 2021, and I had to get out of there. I was originally thinking that I'd stay there for a good while. I had to get out of there because everyone that lives in that town thinks that that town is the only part of the world or the most important part of the world. They literally do not think that anyone living outside of that city is worth caring about, worth thinking about, or taking into consideration. And the Oscars feels like the pure embodiment of that sentiment. So I'm going to get into this article that just came out recently, pissed me off so much. It's from the LA Times, says the Oscars nominees are better, but the show acts like it's embarrassed by them. So the first thing I want to say before going into this, who is the show for? Is it for the industry or is it for the people? Now, I'm going to steel man both arguments on this. I understand that from the industry perspective, this is an award show. Like any industry has an award show. We are actually going to assess who did the best job, and then your peers are going to vote on who should be given the recognition of doing the best job in our industry for that year. That's their perspective, and I see valid points in that. The people's perspective is, if this is going to be broadcast on television, and this is going to be recognizing the most entertaining, going to recognize the best of the entertainment industry, what it has to offer, then there has to be a level of connection between what the actual audience is seeing and what is doing well and what is the highest quality in the industry. Now, that's what I think that the most steelmanned arguments for both sides would be. However, what I would say the ideal scenario here is the way that it was from the 50s to the mid 2000s, which what I hope the best way to say that is that the industry is putting out very high quality content that the audience legitimately enjoys, and movies that are enjoyed at a very, very high level by a very wide range of people are then celebrated by people within the industry. And whenever the Oscars come about, there is an exciting conversation that is going on between the film industry and the audience. It keeps things moving along whenever it comes to the movies that are showing on the big screen, the movies that we're all enjoying, that we're all talking about. It feels like there is a bit of a give and take. So, in the last 10 years, the Oscars have declined so much, really since 2014. What I say it's because at the end of the night, after a 3-hour show, Best Picture is awarded. The best award of the night, the award that we are all waiting for, Best Picture. 8, 9, almost 10 years now, this award is being given to movies that less and less and less people are seeing. The argument on the other side is, well, the point of this award is to nominate what we think the industry thinks is the best, and then that boosts everyone's viewership of this movie, and that movie gets more recognition. The problem, year after year after year after year, the recognition of the movie that is winning falls so much. Not that many people go and see things like Parasite or Nomadland. It just doesn't happen. I'm sorry, it does not happen. And you hear people say all the time, so what you want? You just want the most popular movie to win? What is this? We nominate popular stuff all the time. I'm going to say, it is about what wins the movie at the end of the night. If the movie that wins at the end of the night is something that nobody is watching, that nobody has seen, that is hardly playing around the country at all, then don't cry whenever your live stream on ABC gets taken down because nobody cares about it. It's just, I think, part of the game that people don't... And look, I own a video production company. I come across this all the time. There are people that care too much about the business side and they don't put out good video content. There are people that put out very, very excellent video content, but they don't give a crap about business at all. They say the only thing that matters is the integrity of the art. And you know what? They're both right to a degree, but you can't have all of one or the other. You need to have an appreciation of the art form and a respect of the business acumen as to what is actually going on here. Movies are expensive to make. Crews demand and should be paid. Studios are incredibly expensive to run. And you know what? People love going to see popular movies. So give them movies that they enjoy. We enjoy incredibly complex TV nowadays. If there are not complex movies being made at a high level, then that is the studio's fault, not the audience's fault. But to have something like the Oscars, give Best Picture to movies that hardly anybody is watching. They gave it to Green Book that one time that it was something everyone was watching. Such a lazy, boring pick. No one cared about Green Book winning Best Picture. The Oscars are lazy whenever it comes to voting on movies because they vote with what they think is either the most politically aligned or they vote with what they think is the best movie for them, and it's incredibly niche. Moonlight, not a great pick. Parasite, as someone who loved it, not a good pick. Nomadland, not a good pick. Shape of Water, not a good pick. Okay? Yeah, you know what? If you want to have a 5-hour conversation about Shape of Water, I'm sure we can talk about a lot of fun technical stuff. But if you want to pick a movie, I'd say the best way to think about a good Oscar Best Picture winner, you are getting 1,000 people together for a movie night, and you are the one responsible for picking the movie that we're all going to watch. You have to pick the best movie that is going to make everyone the most excited. And if you are going to say that everyone else is the problem because they aren't watching the movies that you think are the best movies, then you are being an elitist piece of shit. And I think that most Oscar voters are being elitist pieces of shit. I've gone on a rant now. See, now I've gone on a rant. Okay, that's the frustration that I have. You can feel that the Academy voters are blaming the audience for everything going rotten. Whenever we give you a 3-hour foreign movie to watch as Best Picture, you get all upset. You get all whiny. Blah, 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 blah. Whenever we give you a movie about a poor woman who's shitting in a bucket and driving across America, you get upset because it's not something that you enjoy. You should enjoy these movies that we give you. We nominate movies that are expensive and we nominate movies that you like. That should be enough for you. Like, come on. People are just going to move on and do something else, and you're going to have to take this piece of crap off of TV. I want the Oscars to be better than they could be, and I reject the idea that people don't like cable, so they're not going to watch it. Oh, are we supposed to Super Bowl-ify these awards? No, make it a shorter show. When it comes to voting, people in the industry are going to have to actually make a decision. Do we care about these awards, and do we care about the audience? If you don't, then who cares? But I think what happened for so long, voters had to vote for movies that were playing in the theaters because that was the only option. They had to actually vote for the things that everyone was seeing. And so we got things like Lord of the Rings, Saving Private Ryan, Silence of the Lambs. But now everything is on streaming. People in LA can go to some small little boutique, say that, hey, this thing's also streaming on Hulu, so we're going to nominate just one obscure movie. Okay, let's get into this article. So this article, again, it's called Oscar Nominees Are Better, but shows acts like it is embarrassed of them. It starts off by saying that we need to have movies that more people are enjoying and watching is an anti-intellectual sentiment swirling around this year's Oscars nominees. It goes on to say, the Academy's knee-jerk insistence on popularity as a criterion of excellence or importance doesn't just feel desperate or pandering, it feels cowardly, marked by a whiff of self-loathing, as Vulture critic wrote on in a spot. Simply put, you can't honor your industry by treating some of its most distinguished professionals as third-class citizens, and you can't teach the public anything if you're scared to tell them about things that they don't already know. What I'm going to say, there's a lot of moaning and groaning around the Oscar changes that have happened. I think that is the wrong conversation to have. For too long, people in Hollywood have ignored the fact that no one cares about this ceremony. And if you do that, then you're not recognizing the fact that there is actually a business going on here. And you cannot ignore business. Business is not just money. Business is actually people. It's audiences. It is the metric by which you measure whether or not you are doing something that people care about. If you are ignoring the fact that people don't care about this, then you are going to have a reckoning coming your way. If you are a family and you are not keeping a budget, if you are running a business and you are not looking at your P&Ls, then eventually there's going to come a huge bill due that you're going to go like, wow, this sucks. Why is this happening? And look, if they change things back, then nothing's going to go well. I don't think these changes are going to make much of a difference either, but this is a consequence of Hollywood acting like they don't care if people are enjoying the Oscars. It then goes on to talk about how shouldn't people want Spider-Man to be nominated? How dare they? Whatever you think of this latest and most lucrative of Spidey adventures, most of the argument for its alleged Oscar worthiness rests on a tiresome canard that equates popularity with quality, ubiquitous with greatness. Its cinematic virtues, whatever they may be, seem to matter far less in this equation than its commercial ones. I have said this before. This is why I think that the changes are not going to matter. You are not going to go from 0 back to 100 overnight. It is going to have to be a large giant, large, long shift back to getting an audience. You're not going to do it overnight. You're not going to do it with a few minor changes. You have to, and this is why I say every year's numbers are a reflection on last year. So in order for everyone to have a good year in 2024, 2023, you have to draw buzz each and every year. You have to understand this year you're not going to do a lot of numbers. So you have to create FOMO the week after. That's why it's good if Spidey is nominated. That's why it's good for Spider-Man to get a Best Picture award. It's good for everyone in America, in the world, to wake up to the news of, whoa, did Spider-Man really win Best Picture? We love Spider-Man. You have to build in people the feeling of, shit, if they're actually going to give attention to things that people in the world actually care about, maybe we should pay attention next year. There's not going to be anything you do on the night, for this night, that's going to make it good. Nominating, giving the award to Spider-Man would be a showing of good faith that Hollywood knows that what people out in the world actually choose has a lot of value. Just look at TV. That is literally, we did it with Squid Game. We got one of the greatest shows of the last 10 years because the audience chose that we are going to watch this. It came from, you could say, grassroots support. But no, giving something an award like Power of the Dog or Drive My Car is not going to, or Coda is not going to change anything. It's going to make it worse, and it's going to be progression more to the Oscars just digging its own grave. The article ends, what kind of person claims to love movies only to be affronted when one they haven't seen or heard of is brought to their attention? You might as well ask what kind of person plays word games and objects to learning new words. The worst person in the world is literally what they say. And this is a very annoying thing with hardcore movie fans. They equate the kind of movie that you enjoy with your level of intellect. I hate this. I hate this equation, and that's just literally why I think that people that really, really love the Oscars in particular nowadays don't like the audience. They really, really hate the audience. They don't trust the audience. They think the audience is actually idiots because they do not love the options that they give them. And this conversation, this back and forth of the Oscars saying, you will enjoy the movies that we tell you that you have to watch because that is how this works. That is not how this works. This works as a conversation between the audience and the film industry. If the Oscars want to change that, if they want to shove movies down people's throats that people don't care about, then that means it is time for the Oscars to come off of TV. They do not belong there. There is nothing but pure contempt coming out of the industry when it comes to the Oscars right now. I think it is very important for the film industry to be in good standing with the American public, and for that reason, I think it is about time that the Oscars just have a private ceremony. I wish it was not that way. I wish the Oscars went back to the way they were around the 2000s. I have given thoughts on this channel as to how I think that could happen, but I do not think that the people running the Oscars are in good faith when it comes to voting for things that people actually care about. Don't shove things down people's throat like this. It's condescending. You are not as important as you think you are. Buzz off. That's all I have to say on that. So, also, we've got a Patreon below. Every Friday, I will be putting out a weekly movie update episode. It is all of the news in the movie industry fit to talk about. I'll be giving my opinions and updates as to what's going on. Please, below, leave comments about things that you are interested in the movie industry. The movie industry is so packed full with such strange opinions made by people that are trapped in bubbles that have no idea what it's actually like to live in the real world, where you are actually trying to enjoy movies and enjoy the entertainment industry while living a real life. Join the Patreon to get the episodes for the weekly movie update. New episodes drop every single Friday. Thank you very much. Hey, if you like 5 Minute Critic, please be sure to subscribe for future updates on reviews and movie news.